Okay, continuing on in applications of solving systems using matrices. Page 4, I believe. Alright, a vending machine contains quarters, dimes, and nickels. There are 570 coins total, valued at $79.50. There are 40 more quarters and dimes. How many coins of each type are there? Alright, so I'm going to let Q be quarters, D be dimes, and N be nickels. So I'm going to let Q represent my quarters. You can do X, Y, Z if you want. D be my dimes. And N be my nickels. Alright, so like I said, if you want to be X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, that's fine too. I think it's sometimes easier, though, to label them with whatever it is you're solving, because it's easier to remember than what you're solving. So first of all, I know that altogether I have 570 coins, which means there are 570 quarters, dimes, and nickels, which means when I add up quarters, dimes, and nickels, it should add up to 570. No more, no less. So when I take my quarters, add them to my dimes, add them to my nickels, it should add up to 570 total coins. Then there's the value. Right, each of those quarters, dimes, and nickels have a value, and when I add up all the values, it adds up to $79.50. Well, remember, quarters are worth 25 cents, so when I find Q quarters, they're each worth 0.25. Each of those, dimes are 10 cents, so that's 0.1. And be careful with nickels. Make sure you make them worth 5 cents, not 50 cents. It's really easy to make that error. And so make sure you're careful. It's 0.05. I didn't give myself enough room. So 0.05 times n. But it's really something that's easy to do, is to do 50 cents instead of 5 cents for nickels. Alright, so there's my quarters, my dimes, my nickels. Each of their values, when I add them all up, it should add up to $79.50. The last problem, the last equation, right? I have 3 unknowns, so I need 3 equations. And so the last equation comes from this line. There are 40 more quarters than dimes, which means I've got quarters and there are 40 more of them. So to make my dimes and quarters equal to each other, I've got to add 40 to my dimes. And so again, it's only going to involve quarters and dimes. So my quarters are going to equal my dimes, but they're only equal if I add 40 to the dimes, right? Because quarters are already 40 more. Dimes would be 40 less, and so to make them equal to each other, I have to add 40 to the dimes. And that's my last equation, and that's the hard equation. You kind of have to, and if you're unsure, plug numbers in. So if I've got 100 quarters, I know I have to have 60 dimes, right? Because I've got 40 more quarters than dimes, and so in order to get the dimes to equal the 100 quarters, I have to add 40 to it. Alright, so again, you can always kind of check it out with actual numbers. Alright, well, this last equation, I also have to put it in standard form, so I'm going to move the dimes to the other side. So quarters minus dimes equals the 40. And now I'm ready to plug it into my matrix format. So it is going to be a 3 by 4. My first equation is just 1,11570. Second equation is 0.25, 0.1, make sure you're careful, 0.05 for nickels, and 79.5. And then the last one is I've got 1 quarter. Remember, this is quarters, dimes, nickels. 1 quarter, negative 1 dimes, 0 nickels in that last equation equals 40. I'm going to kind of squeeze that last equation in. Alright, this is quarters minus dimes equals 40. There's no nickels, so you got to remember, you got to put the nickels in a placeholder 0 for the nickels. Alright, row reduced echelon form should give you that nice diagonal of 1s, right? Our one solution case. And if it does, it should come out 1s along the diagonal, and then constant. So the constant is 212, 172, 186. Alright, remember, these are quarters, these are dimes, these are nickels. And you can kind of check. Make sure you've got 40 more quarters than dimes, right? And I do. I have 172 dimes. I have 212 quarters. That's a 40 value difference. So there's my answer. There is 212 quarters, 172 dimes, 186 nickels. If I add that up, that should add to 570. If I found the value, it should add up to $79.50, right? If I took 212 quarters plus 172 dimes and 186 nickels, the value should be $79.50. And I have 40 more quarters and dimes. So you can do kind of a quick mental check that your answers are right? It solves all three equations. Next example on this page, the second example on this page. Bargain store sells t-shirts for $5 a piece. Pants sell for $8 a piece. $18 a piece. There's a total of 27 items that were sold. So 27 items were sold for a total of $317. So we're going to spit it out. How many pants were sold? There's only two things. There's shirts and pants. So there's only two, and it's up to you. And this time I'm going to go X and Y. All right, so I'm going to let X be the number of t-shirts, Y the number of pants, which is actually what we're looking for, right? I want to find my Y. Alright, my t-shirts are worth $5, my pants are worth $18, and I know I sold 27 items. So out of the 27 items, some of them were pants, some of them were shirts, and I have to figure out, well, how many were shirts and how many were pants. And so I know X plus Y have to add up to 27. And then I know their total value. $317 worth of clothing was sold. Each t-shirt sold for $5, so 5X. Each pant set sold for 18, so 18Y. And there's my system. Right, and then I'm going to solve it. You can solve it however you want. I think a matrix is the easiest way because then I can't mess up on the algebra. So this is a smaller set. There's only two equations, two unknowns. So this is a 2x3. Still do your row reduced echelon form. Should give you the one solution case, and it does. Comes out 13 for my X, 14 for my Y, and that's the one thing. I got both. I know there were 13 t-shirts and 14 pants, but that's, again, make sure you're careful. They do this a lot in the final exam where they only ask you for one part. And so the same thing will be true on your WebAssign and on quizzes. So we find all of the answers, but only one of them is asked for, and so you only give the one they ask for. So the answer that they're looking for is 14. There are 14 pants sold. Right? We don't care that there were 13 t-shirts, other than we get the answer. We can check our answer, right? It should add up to 27 items. 13 and 14 do add up to 27. And so I can use the 13 to sort of check that my answer is reasonable, but remember, only give the answer you are asked to find. Right? Don't give the 13, otherwise it'll be marked wrong. It only wants the 14. It only asks for pants. So always answer what you are asked to find. If you ask for both, give both. If it asks for one, only give one. Alright, so that finishes up this page. In the next page, we're going to actually set them up a little differently. We're going to set them up using tables, which actually tables aren't too bad. It's kind of like trees. Students typically like tables because it gives you the matrix right away. Right, and so those are the next examples.